yards in the first 2 games is his lowest since he's been a Saint. But Brees said, quote, "My job is to execute the offense. My job's not to have the most air yards." Former Saints great Reggie Bush is back with us, but Marcellus, I got to start with you. Is Drew Brees on that hot seat?
Hell no, he ain't on the hot seat. But it's interesting to watch that guy in the middle box, the all-time great Reggie Bush, not wear a Saints jersey today. I wonder why.
That is rather peculiar.
That is really interesting.
That is rather peculiar,
He wanted to go with the Sean John, button-up instead of the normal.
It's in the cleaners. It's in the cleaners. It's in the cleaners.
Oh, okay. Just wanted America to notice that Reggie, when they winning, he shows up.
So he's a front runner. That's what you're saying. So Reggie Bush is a front runner is what you're saying.
You know that. That's why Pete Carroll left him. All right, here we go. Here's the thing. Y'all gonna put Drew Brees on the hot seat in week 2, the future Hall of Famer, and what the ammunition is. Air yards. Air yards. Y'all some nerds. I hear Acho in the ring, air yards. I can't even check my timeline and search Drew Brees without air yards popping up. What the hell air yards got to do with Drew Brees? So let me break down air yards for y'all. 4.82 air yards, lowest by any quarterback since 2009 and Brett Favre. Ooh, yuck, everyone is saying, except in 2009 with Brett Favre, that team went 12-4 and went to the NFC Championship game. Based on the recent success or lack thereof of the Saints in the playoffs, maybe that will be a positive. Air yards right now, everyone's saying he's not throwing the ball down the field. Yuck to Drew Brees, even though in the last 2 years, he hasn't been throwing the ball down the field. But now everyone wants to say the sky is falling. Let me tell you what Drew Brees is sandwiched between 2 guys in the fewest attempts of air yards going over 10-plus yards. Jimmy Garoppolo, who's hurt right now but hasn't lost a game, and Derek Carr, who's also undefeated. So let's just get this air yard conversation out the door. Let's talk about what's really happening in New Orleans. No Alvin Kamara in week 1, basically based on his production, based on his level. Week 2, he showed up. Week 1, just a couple of touchdowns, but not the yards from scrimmage that we're used to. How about no Emmanuel Sanders in week 1 or week 2? So far, he has not hit the ground running. And then in week 2, we don't even see his best receiver in Michael Thomas. And now everyone's going to say it's about Drew Brees and the air yards. It's not about that. It's about continuity. You can't just have the same coaching staff if you don't have your personnel out there and they're dependable week in, week out. That's the only issue in New Orleans right
Marcellus, first off, I have to tell America about the contradiction that this man is about to speak, saying it's only been 2 weeks. How can he be on the hot seat? Because we don't talk about Carson Wentz coming up later, and you about to throw Carson Wentz in a scorching bed of fire. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a lie that I had to let America in on. Now, the issue that Drew Brees actually has isn't that these players are disappearing, because they were on the field. Kamara had 17 touches week 1. He was on the field. Emmanuel Sanders, he was on the field. The problem at hand, why Drew Brees, in theory, is coming up on a hot seat very soon, is you got a backup quarterback in Taysom Hill who you're committed to $16 million for. Now, I don't know why, but Sean Payton earlier on in the offseason said, I think Taysom sees himself as a starting quarterback in this league. And we do too. Uh-oh, Sean Payton. You just said that the man you giving $16 million to on this extension, you see as a quarterback in this league. Then tell me why, Sean Payton. He's only been on the field for 31 snaps through 2 games. Make that make sense. The other reason why Drew Brees is not yet on a hot seat, but if we're being honest, in 2, 3, 4 weeks, if this play continues, the seat might get a little hotter, is because as much as people love to hate Jameis Winston, and Jameis Winston gave y'all 30 reasons why. Jameis gave y'all 30 reasons to hate him. He also gave you 5,000 passing yards last year. Only 7 other people in his history of the NFL have done that. Jameis Winston is the 8th. And so, in the midst of Drew Brees' struggles, there are still viable options in New Orleans, regardless of how much we want to scoff at them. I don't think Drew Brees is yet on the hot seat. But I will say this. Taysom Hill needs to get some more touches, because the job of the quarterback, get the ball into the hands of the playmakers. Well, you lost your biggest playmaker, Michael Thomas. Taysom Hill's one of your top 3 playmakers on that offense, and he's not even seeing the field right now. That's the problem.
Well, I agree with you. I think I don't think Drew Brees is on the hot seat. I think that's actually kind of crazy to even think that after 2 weeks of playing football. And then on top of that, you got to think about nobody's had a normal offseason. So everybody is still kind of learning as this thing is going. The teams are still trying to figure out how to win football games. Teams are still trying to figure out how to build that chemistry. And at the same time, Drew Brees didn't have Michael Thomas last night.
Thank you.
He didn't have his best weapon last night. So, of course, his passing numbers are going to go down because when Michael Thomas is on the football field, that's 14 to 21 points guaranteed. And then on the flip side, I just got to say this about the Las Vegas Raiders. They look good. Derek Carr looked good. I was watching him when it was man, he was hitting his receivers in stride, and when it was zone, he was picking apart the right slots. And then on top of that, his tight end, Darren Waller, is an absolute beast.
Nice.
That kid cannot be covered. He cannot be covered. And he was a problem all last night for the Saints defense. That's why we lost the football game.
See, here's the thing, Reg. Don't talk to me about a lack of a normal all season. When you got Aaron Rodgers, he got 6 tugs, no picks. You got Russell Wilson. He got 9 tugs, 1 pick. You got Patrick Mahomes. He has 5 or 6 tugs and maybe 0 or 1 pick. You can't sit here, Reg, and talk about – you can't make excuses, Reg. You got Super Bowl rings weighing your fingers down, Reggie, and you still making excuses for Drew Brees? Come on now. You just can't do that. Now, the issue –
all I'm saying –
That's Sean John tight today.
No, what you saying, Reggie? I want to hear it.
We all want to hear it, Reggie, please.
All I'm saying is he did not have Michael Thomas last night. You cannot sit here and say, is Drew Brees on the hot seat because they 1-1? Come on, man. Are you serious? They've won the NFC South 3 times.
In a row.
The issue isn't Drew Brees being on the hot seat right now. I do think right now putting Brees on the hot seat is ludicrous. But here's what I'm reminded of, Reggie, 2015. Remember when Peyton Manning literally limped into the Super Bowl? And everybody was wondering, is Peyton Manning going to hold this Broncos roster back? I view this as a similar situation. The Saints defense, legit. I like Cameron Jordan. Malcolm Jenkins didn't play a great game yesterday, but I love him. I love Janoris Jenkins, Jackrabbit. I love Lattimore. The defense is stout. The question is Drew Brees actually going to be the person that holds this team back? And actually, while this was rhetorical, I really want to answer, Reggie. So is Drew Brees going to be the piece that holds this Saints team back?
Damn.
Absolutely not. How could you say something like that? Drew Brees is the leader. He's the captain of this ship. Okay. He's the leader of the team. They follow his suit, and he's the guy that keeps he's the guy that keeps this thing, keeps the glue, whatever I even say. He's the guy that's keeping this thing together. Period.
Marcellus, does Reggie know he can't sit in Drew Brees' box this season?
No, nobody can. Nobody can.
He really petitioned for that front row.
Right.
Anyway,
all you can use is the red zone package this year. You can't use sideline passes, Reggie. But we respected, Reggie, what you're trying to say right there. Look, he's not on the hot seat. Let's just be real. He will not be on the hot seat this year. He's going to retire, go off into the sunset. Whether they win the championship or not, Drew Brees is going to leave on his terms. 10 penalties for 129 yards last night. No one wants to bring that factor up. Hitting yardage, how they lost the game in terms of the lack of discipline, whatever that may mean. But that's not on Drew Brees in fullness. Let's talk about the fact that Drew Brees is still top 10 in passer rating, especially on third downs this year. Let's focus in on the money down. You know why? Because on third down only, you want to bring it up, Acho. Rodgers, Newton, and Mahomes are better on money down situations. So Drew Brees is still going to go out there with the life raft and save you to keep the chains moving. You look at Drew Brees, he's still not turning the ball over. One takeaway, one turnover.
That egregious interception? You didn't see that egregious pick?
It's ugly, but it only counts as one. It only counts as one.
It counted as 3. It counted as 7 points, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead.
You came up here yesterday talking about Russell. Okay, you talking about Russell Wilson yesterday throwing that pick 6 before they even got out the locker room, but I'm going to leave that alone. And this is another reason why he's not on the hot seat. Despite them paying, what's the backup making? You said, Acho, $16 million a year, who's only thrown 14 career passes. That's $1.14 million a pass. You know what? That guy is just going to sit comfortably, still be who he is. Is it going to be a guy that comes in certain situations and is allowed to add some spice to this offense? But he is not the meat and potatoes. It's still Drew Brees, who is still looking like older Drew Brees. The oldest. Not the oldest. Older Drew Brees, who set NFL records in completion percentage consecutive years, last 2 years, and career in terms of his passer rating the last 2 years. So no way after 2 games is it future Hall of Famer on the hot seat.
It's just so amazing to me that you, Marcellus, and you, Reggie Bush, just grant Drew Brees so many excuses. Like, Reggie, I know Marcellus is an excuse maker. Well, look at him on third down, on money downs, the one thing he does well. Just look at him.
That's where you get paid.
And Reggie, nah, Drew Brees ain't never going to be on a hot seat. Y'all have to be honest with yourselves. He's not on a hot seat right now. But y'all not going to sit here and act like if he continues to lose to teams he has no business losing to, he's not going to be on this hot seat. Reggie, Michael Thomas isn't coming back to save the day anytime soon now. So Michael Thomas being hurt, how long are the Saints going to make that an excuse?
They beat the Bucs and they lose to an undefeated Raiders team, and you talking about they shouldn't be losing to who? Ain't my fault. Ain't my fault. Hey, new information comes out with new commentary.
Can we get to week 4?
Why
Can we get to week 3? Can we get to week 4?
Hey, no.
Because they got Green Bay.
Reggie said, let's get to week 4, because week 3 they got Green Bay.
Oh, that could change.
I said week 3 and week 4. That's a great test next week for them. I really want to see how they're going to play against Green Bay, because especially when you go to Las Vegas and you lose a game like that against the Raiders, a game that they were probably favored in the win, now you got to play it. Now you got to step up, because you don't want to lose 2 games in a row, do you? Right? So you don't want to lose 2 games in a row. You have a great opponent coming up. To me, this is a great test. This is going to tell me a lot about where this team is mentally. Even if they do lose this football game, it's how you lose. It's how many points you lose by. Did you get whooped, or was it a close win? Was it a nail-biter?
That's real. I like that a lot. And I'm sure Drew Brees is going to like your comments and make sure your box seats are ready for next season.
They're warm.
Well done. Coming up, LeBron and AD have avoided some of the NBA's best on their way to the finals. We'll ask LeBron's former teammate, Tristan Thompson, if their title run will be